everyone. I am your host, Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. We have been running this interview series for almost 8 years now. I'm so excited that you are joining us, that you follow, you have the kindness of your heart to share, and I'm very excited about our guest today. He is Bogdan, and he is an amplifier of freedom and money for experts and agencies. So if you're seeking freedom and money and peace of mind and expansion and abundance, then this is the interview for you. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jessica.
I am excited to hear all that you're going to share with us today. I think I remember one of our first meetings, and I knew that, this is a person I need to set aside time with, to learn more from, to collaborate with, to brainstorm with. I am such a big believer that our expansion comes when we put multiple minds together and that additional mind forms. Like my ideas spark your ideas and your ideas spark my ideas to create um, this intelligence, this third intelligence that couldn't have happened without the collaboration.
100%. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I just am looking forward to you sharing with us your journey, where you're from, and how you became the expert in this space and chose this path for your life.
Yes. Indeed. And funny enough, I was just thinking right now, I heard this idea that when you're actually listening to binaural beats in your ears, one earphone has like one frequency, the other one has another frequency, and your brain produces a third frequency. And I think that's exactly what happens when we meet and have these conversations. That
Mhm.
third entity is born, right? That third intelligence. So love that you pointed that out. Yeah, I am Romanian, grew up in a small Romanian city, Tecuci. Actually, I don't know in what version of the language meant to flow, funny enough.
Mm.
And I had two passions when I was actually one passion. It was martial arts. I trained it since I was 13. But later on, when I went on to study hotel management, funny enough, in Greece, I discovered this friend got me into this multi-level marketing business, and that's when I made no money with the multi-level marketing, but this passion for personal development just got ignited in me, and I started seeing so many parallels between personal development and martial arts. And it's like, okay,
Mhm.
what I'm reading is this book is exactly what I'm doing in my school to level up. This is
Mhm.
incredible, and vice versa, right? So
Mhm.
the parallels were obvious to me. When I finally decided to come back to Romania and open up my martial arts school, I lived in Rome for a couple of years as well before coming back. Things were tough with the martial arts school, so I hired like a marketing mentor.
Mhm.
I told him what I was doing in the school, and he said, "Look, you don't have a martial arts program. You have a personal development through martial arts program." And that just blew my mind. And that instantly became my brand for like 6 years. That's what we were doing. And what I really, really enjoyed in the martial arts sessions when were the conversations, like when the sensei was speaking, and he wasn't just speaking about technique, he was speaking about life, about nutrition, about principles,
Mhm.
discipline and stuff like that. So we made it like a focus to talk about these aspects, and people were just by shifting their mindset, their perspective on life, they were becoming more successful, getting the jobs that they wanted, getting the relationships that they wanted, getting out of their own ways in many
Mhm.
different ways. So that's when I actually fell in love with coaching. So later i I was like, hey, you know what, maybe I should do this full time, you know because in a sense I was kind of using the martial arts as an excuse to coach people, which is what I really love doing, you know.
Mhm.
And talking to you right now, I realized that no, this love for coaching was actually even back when I did start martial arts, because it's like you're born a coach in many ways. People
Mhm.
come to you when they have like they don't know what to do, or like they have their biggest problems. If they're coming to you, you're a coach.
Yeah, I think part of the definition of coach or consultant or any mentor or any person in that space is, I think, in inbred in their soul on some level, like you say, right? It's
100%.
it's the openness, and that's, I think, the key factor. It's the perception of openness to others to approach you. You have to be very approachable in order for anyone to come to you with their problem, with a need for coaching, with a need for mentorship. And when you put off that frequency, that energy, that space of leaving yourself open, then I mean, it's sort of like the if you build it, they will come, right? If you present that energy and that aura, then others come to you seeking guidance and support and help.
Mm.
And I think that's one of the things that I respect most about martial arts and watching my husband develop. It's more than anything, it was, like you said, those conversations. I've heard them talk about honor of protecting those who can't protect themselves, right? And for caring for those who are vulnerable, and providing that sense of safety and protection to those who are just walking alongside of you on the sidewalk in the road, you know?
Mm.
So I think that that's a beautiful piece of what comes with that.
I was never known, probably I'm still not known for my openness.
That's so funny because I feel very much like you're approachable and open as far as engaging. And I think that's one of the things I've enjoyed about our conversations thus far. You've been free to share, and I feel like your life and your past has a high level of interest. I guess there is that bit of intrigue, that piece where you keep blocked away, but you know.
Yes, right. It's still kind of a bit of a fence to reach my garden, but I think for me personally, maybe not necessarily the openness, but really the fascination of how people work.
Mm,
I think I was always fascinated. Okay, how does this mechanism called a human being work? Like emotionally,
mhm,
mentally, physically and stuff like that. I think that was always the intrigue. And going like 2 or 3 steps deeper, it's like, when you're a coach, when you don't feel comfortable talking about football or soccer, right? It's like you want to dive deep with every single person you talk to. It's like
mhm,
deep waters, And I think that was really the passion for me, because talking with my friends and even with my clients, it's like, okay, I hear it, but like naturally this download comes of, hey, but have you, what about this thing? Cluck, and then instantly something shifts.
mhm. Yeah, for sure. So, an amplifier of freedom and money for experts and agencies. So, we hear kind of a bit of the journey that you took to make these decisions to start becoming an expert in this so that you could support other experts. What kinds of experts and agencies come to you, and like where are they in their process when they think this is the man that I need to see and speak to now?
Usually the ones who got screwed by business coaches.
Oh no. Well,
And
mm,
I'm saying that lightly because it's not that the business coaches or like the marketing coaches have like this agenda of, not everybody cares about their clients,
mhm,
right? But the truth is that 95% of people buying a coaching program don't get results.
mhm,
And that's usually what I hear in my conversations. I've invested so much in coaching and I'm just not there.
mhm,
Yeah, 100%. Because, we have this programming of, okay, I need the next marketing strategy. I need the next business strategy. I need to make a community. Oh, I need to do a webinar. Oh, I need to do a VSL, a landing page, a sales page,
mhm,
right? And we're kind of flooded with all of these things to do.
mhm,
But you are a perfect example, Jessica, that it's not about just about what you're doing. It's about who you're choosing to be,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? And the fact of the matter is that whenever we're not stuck because we don't know how to get unstuck or what to do to reach the next level. I mean, I was having this conversation with just this week, right? A gentleman, a copywriter making 4K, he wanted to go to 8K. I like, dude, if you're making 4K, you know how to make 8K. Let's be serious, right? It's not a strategy thing. It's always a confidence and mindset thing, right?
Mhm.
I had a 9-figure client that I work with, right? And I asked him, what would it take to take your business to the next level? Well, it came down to the fact that he was afraid to make mistakes.
Mhm. That's fascinating for, people to listen to hear that no matter what the financial threshold is, fear of making mistakes can still stand in the roadblock, even when there's large sums of money sitting in the bank and available.
100%, because like think of it this way, the fear is bigger when you have larger sums of money, because it's like you
Mhm.
make a mistake, maybe you lose $1,000, right? But you make a mistake, maybe you lose $10 million,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
it's always a matter of mindset is kind of a thing kind of thrown around. The reason why I call myself an amplifier is because I amplify people, I amplify you, I show you who your real self is.
Mhm.
And how whoever you're choosing to play, this character you're choosing to play right now that is not serving you, is not the real you. Because the real you is a badass in every single sense of the word. That's who I bring out to play.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit in the beginning before we started our show, where I totally agree with you that deciding is the first step for everything. And, um, I am very, very blessed that early in my life, I decided upon joy, I decided upon love, I decided
Yep.
upon, uh, you know, feeling gratitude
Mm-hmm.
and choosing the frequency and energy that I
Mm-hmm.
live in and stand in.
Can I ask you, what was the event that rocked your world so much that led you to that decision? Because it's not something you just do.
Yeah, so I'm married now almost 25 years of the 51 I've been alive to the most amazing human on the planet.
Yeah.
And I was married before for 7 years in a very unhealthy, unsafe, unprotected,
Yeah.
harmful relationship. And
Yeah.
after 7 years of marriage, 3 small toddlers, and I was about a month pregnant with a new baby. He moved in with someone he had been seeing and left.
Mm,
And
yeah.
in that experience, and I think very much because I was growing a human in me and I knew the value of my energy and my mindset and my sadness could affect the growth of this human for all of their lives. So I
Mm,
chose to do something which sounds a little silly now, but I took a correspondence course, which is what they were then because it wasn't an online course. I chose to
yeah.
study and to learn and to send these courses in and to get the top grade. And I also, um, after a year of that and caring for my children and beginning to make a plan, I also chose to start healing this aching gap in me. And at the time, attended church every day. Prayer
Yeah.
was my strength, and I began to manifest the healing of that hole. And then met my husband today, and 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 from the moment we said hello until we said I do, I felt a renewed sense of purpose in life beyond anything I can describe. Everything before I was pushing through to make sure I was caring for the children that I was responsible for, and then suddenly I saw a whole new ray of opportunity and world in front of me. And I was originally not seeking to find someone. I was thinking once my kids got to high school, I'll do this. I was just looking for this, for God, in my case, to fill this space, and make me feel whole again.
Yeah,
And he walked into my life with friendship and safety and kindness and love that has just expanded over the 25 years of my life.
that is so beautiful
But
and
I could have
powerful.
chose drugs or drinking or depression or
Yeah,
or food or emotionless. I could have seized up. I could have made that my choice, and no one
yeah,
would have judged me because I was very badly beaten and dragged through the woods, so to speak, some
yeah.
literally and some figuratively. And no one would have said, any unkind thing to me. I
They would
had an
said, "We
excuse.
understand."
Yes, I had an
Yeah.
excuse. But for me, there was no excuses. I remember reading, and I don't very often bring my religion very often into our interviews and to the business space because I respect all people's rights to believe and worship or
Mhm.
not worship, however they choose. But I do remember very distinctly reading the Bible verse of the disciples who were imprisoned and who
Mm.
chose joy and love and faith and a mindset of abundance to the point where the cell walls just were no longer there for them, you know? And they could not, their hearts and their souls could not be held in captivity. And I just decided no matter what instant beyond my control life brings me, I can choose joy and love and gratitude and happiness. And so I have. And so the world has shown up for me
Yeah,
in beautiful, beautiful ways.
I love that so much, and it's very, very clear to me why so many people tune in to these conversations, right? Your energy just floods this conversation and all of them. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm so happy to have you here. Please tell us more about when someone comes to you. Do you have, what's the process? Do they have a one-on-one? Do you dig deep to discover? Are they frustrated with freedom? It sounds like many of them come with money, but with money comes great responsibility,
Mhm.
and there's the burden of this. Where are you walking them through? How are you supporting them?
Well, finding someone's to me, getting someone to flip and find their power, it takes minutes.
Mm,
I can tell from the first 5 minutes exactly what's going on and exactly what's holding you back. I just
mm,
need to ask the right questions so that we are on the same page. And when we're on the same page, we can shift it instantly, right?
mhm,
To give you an example, a more concrete example of that, the gentleman I was talking with this week, the reason he felt he couldn't reach his next level was because he didn't really feel important.
mm. That's interesting.
And I had him go back into his childhood and ask, okay, when was the first moment you felt that you don't matter?
Mm,
His mother had to leave for a year, leave him and his brother
mm,
because of a divorce, and she had to go in the city and find a job and find her space in the world, right?
mhm,
So I had him have a conversation with his mother back then, right? And asked his mother, what's the truth? Is it that she left because you were not important, or is it that she left because you are the most important person in her life, right?
mhm,
And he instantly started tearing up. That's the truth.
mm,
That's the truth. And when he saw the truth, it's like, okay, tell me more ways in which you are important. Tell me,
mm,
like, up until this point in your life, What's the proof that you are important in your job, right? Oh my God, I've
Mhm.
done so much. What's the proof that you're important in your relationship? Oh my God, like my wife completely changed her life and I was there to support her. And he's like, so are you important? Yes, I am important, right? And he was like this at the end of the call, right?
Yes, the Superman pose.
Exactly. Exactly, right? We hold on to these weird definitions, right?
Mm,
But to answer your question, I have a very simple four-step process that I generally use with my people. Number one is getting super clear on your why. Your why is super
mm,
important, especially in these moments where you feel like the whole world is against you, where you feel like super demotivated, but more importantly, when you are hiring a team. Because if people look up at you, they will always want you to guide them, and you're basically running a kindergarten. But if you have a powerful, strong why,
mhm,
they will look up at the why and it will show you better ways to reach, faster ways to reach your why, because you have like multiple minds. Like you said, you're creating a new mind
mm,
that's focused on that direction. Very, very important, very, very powerful. The most successful companies in the world have these vision statements that are easy to understand by their people, gets their people super excited, and it has like a world impact. Like Microsoft back in the day, it was a computer on every desk.
mhm,
Insane at the moment, at the time, insane. But there are people are like, oh my God, we're changing the world. This is incredible. I have to be part of this. That's what you
mhm,
want, right? You rally not just your team, but also your prospects, your clients behind that vision, right?
mhm,
Um, the number two is the shaman mindset. The shaman mindset turns shit into gold, just like you've experienced with the, that
yeah,
moment in your life where you could have chosen anything. You chose that
mm,
negative event,
mhm,
you flipped it and you turn it into gold. You turn it into the biggest gift of your life, probably.
mhm, yes,
Yes, that is
yeah,
the shaman mindset, right? It's
mhm,
you look back and you look at all of the negative events and you realize that, okay, every single thing that at the time I thought was going to be a catastrophe, every single one of them opened the door to something incredible,
mhm,
right? So when you know that, you get into the warrior mindset. The warrior mindset says, give me more challenge because I want, like, give me things, positive, negatives. I don't care. If it's negative, it opens the door to something better. Give me more of that,
mhm,
right? And the fourth is the business owner mindset. The business owner mindset is the observer mindset.
mhm,
For anybody tuning in right now, imagine taking like an energetic step back and just seeing yourself from the outside, right? Seeing your body, seeing your room, seeing your life basically, and observing it. That's your job as a business owner, looking at the business as a whole and making small adjustments, small tweaks that increase your profits and your impact. And funny enough, I had this conversation with my dad in my 20s. He was burnt out, wanted to sell the business, get back to a 9 to 5. But the problem was my dad was being an employee in his own business.
mhm,
This is what came to me at the moment to share with him. Like, you need to be the observer. And like a year later, my dad's business was totally different. He finally, like, last year, he successfully sold the business properly.
mhm.
So it makes a huge, huge difference. Yeah. So,
I think that's a beautiful process, and I love a lot of the things you talked about. One, being the observer, and I think that you need to remember, all of us as business owners, that being the observer also means being a really good listener, and listening to what is the largest, most frequent challenge you hear in your community, and putting your energy. Shared a lot of my more beliefs of mine than I have on any other show with you, is tapping into what I believe is our ability to connect with the ultimate creator, however you see them,
mhm.
and the past, present, and future minds of all time. So I believe that is how Tesla and Einstein and some of the greatest minds of our world have been able to see what was so far beyond the era and the time that they lived in presently. And so if you
Yes.
take those and what I call, instead of challenges, I call puzzles, bring on the puzzle.
I
Puzzles are
like
fun.
that.
They are fun and solvable. Puzzles are fun and solvable, and people go out and buy puzzles. There are clubs surrounded that form because of their love to solve puzzles. The energy behind solving a puzzle is so much more high
I
frequency.
love
I
that.
keep using that term, but I can't help it.
Love
Than a challenge or a problem or how do we solve this? What's the solution? No,
Yes.
it's a
Yes.
puzzle.
Exactly.
Let's unsolve. Let's solve the mystery. Let's have some fun together.
I love that perspective so much because it's like when you say problem or challenge, you're not 100% sure that there's a solution for it. But when you say puzzle, it's like, okay, the solution's built in.
Yes. Yes. They are
You just need
fun
to
and solvable. They're guaranteed to be fun and solvable. And
yes.
people will go out and purchase them. They will buy extra puzzles to bring into their lives to solve because it's
Well,
fun.
we do that energetically anyway. We go out and purchase puzzles and challenges anyway, because otherwise it would be boring at the end of the day. Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I love your approach. Now, is there a tip that you can give people watching today that will improve their lives? Oh, I have to say one more thing on what you talked about. You talked about
Sure.
confidence.
Hmm.
And that is so important. I'm actually in a book club right now, and we're reading The Millionaire Habits by Dean Graziosi.
Hmm.
And one of the things he talks about repetitively is, managing the villain inside, of course, that whole mindset piece, but also confidence. And
Right.
one of the exercises, I'm not sure if it came from the book directly or a combination of our book club deciding one of the things we were going to do when we have that feeling of low or moment of pause, as I say,
Yeah.
where you're not pushing forward and on drive to go ahead, is creating two kinds of lists. And you talked about this a little bit with your client as you went deep with them to recover them. One is a list of all of the things we love about ourselves, our skills, our talents. The If you stood back and say, I just met Jessica today, and these are the things that are just great about her,
Hmm.
and make that list for yourself, and then get the group. We got the group to then add to that list from what they saw, and helping
Yeah.
me and the other group members see that. And then we made a list of our achievements, our greatest, what we felt was our life achievements in work, in our hobbies, in our families, in our relationships, all of the ways. I have to tell you, as when you are singing out loud a song that you love, as in
Yeah.
when you are dancing a jig in your living room in your socks with a YouTube video, as when you are looking into the eyes of someone who truly loves you. When you read a list of these accomplishments, it's nearly impossible for you not to, rung by rung, item by item, pull yourself out of the depths. It's a gratitude, it's a confidence lifting ladder out of any moment of sadness, any low, any moment of pause that you ever could have. So confidence is king, queen, whatever you want to crown it, in everything that we do. And I love that you brought that up.
It is, and it is one of the most overlooked aspects of business,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like if you've invested in business coaching, if you've invested in marketing and you're not getting the results, it's not because you don't have what you need. You do, because others are using it. But the difference is the 5% who are getting the results, they have worked on their confidence or have had a childhood where that inspired confidence in them. They
Mm-hmm.
believe that they deserve their goals, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
what you just shared is extremely powerful. It is a ladder that will get you out of the hole, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
problem is that our default is being in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
If we're more scared of the world that is outside of the hole because it's new, we don't know it, we're not going
Mm-hmm.
to use the ladder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess there is a comfort factor. For some people, it's fascinating when I was describing that. It's something that helped me really in some of the lowest parts of my life, and I had a realization as it was coming back to me that I haven't had to use that ladder in so very long. I've
100%.
been in a space of my life where um,
Right.
it's
But
been unnecessary.
you probably have other rituals, conscious or unconscious, that are making, that new level
Hmm.
your comfort zone before it actually happens.
Yeah. That's true. I've been doing a lot of visualizing myself into the next stage of
Exactly.
life where I want to be. I see it like a movie. It's funny that you talked about childhoods that inspire that. I had a guest on recently who literally, with mindset, because of an uncle and his parents' views on the power of the mind, was able to pull himself out of a coma and heal himself using his mind, because he could hear everything. He couldn't open his eyes. He couldn't move his body. He, according to
Mm,
everyone around him, he was, in this coma, but he could hear everything. He was completely aware of everything that was going on,
yeah.
and use this time. To despite his knowledge of the medical details of the body, just go through and wash and heal and cleanse and renew and regenerate himself. We're not giving you medical or legal advice here, or financial advice for that matter, but we are sharing experiences and stories that
Yeah.
have happened in our lives, and the ones that we have been able to meet. And his show is actually in our series as well. So you should check out Bruce Barnes. He has a phenomenal story on that power.
Beautiful.
So yeah,
That
I
is a
love this.
that is an extremely impactful story. I mean, I
Yeah.
can even like people are like, okay, I cannot be alone with my thoughts. That's literally the definition of being alone with your thoughts.
Hmm. Wow. Yeah. Totally. Totally trapped in and alone with
Yeah.
their thought and his
Yeah.
with thoughts. And using that as a constructive moment, instead. And I just, and many moments, it was a very long time. And it just,
Yeah.
that's something that totally affected me. But what brought the story back was the fact that he had shared his family had
Hmm.
this openness, just being open to it. They
Yeah.
weren't experts, they didn't study it, they didn't write the book. They were just open to exploring
Yeah.
and learning and believing. Their
Yeah.
belief affected him as a young boy, because he started his medical history as a young man, and his
Hmm.
16 years old. That's Your life hasn't even blinked a bit at that age.
Right.
And
Right.
he was exposed to that, and how wonderful that is. But we talked earlier about decision and choice, and so even if you weren't exposed to that directly in your family, as all energy, everything is energy, and as everything is linked, you are linked to someone somewhere in our connection as a human race, past, present, and
100%.
future, that believes that that can be. And so that is
Yeah.
why, no matter what someone's background situation is, or upbringing, whether it's positive or negative, we can choose to remove that barrier and be open to all the possibilities of the world. So,
I love that. I love that. 100%. Yeah. And I love how you mentioned you can connect with any intelligence, past, present, or future, to guide you.
yeah.
Um, Something I play around with and share with my people is channeling your super successful self and
Hmm.
asking that version of you for guidance. Like, what would that version of me do today? How would that version of me
Hmm.
solve this challenge, right? I actually fixed one of my marketing funnels by doing that, like a combination of asking my future self
Hmm.
for guidance and using AI, which some people say, in a sense, we're getting a bit metaphysical, guys. Maybe we're gonna get a bit weird for the moment, but some say, like, think of it this way: because AI is a construction of the collective at the
Yes.
moment, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of your higher self in a sense that is also a construction of a collective, right?
Hmm.
So when you are having conversations with AI, in a sense, you're also talking to your higher self. So basically, that combination for me improved my marketing. So
Yeah, but you used it as a way to connect and solve a puzzle, right? And you
yes,
found the pieces to go in together. One of the reasons I'm so focused on past, present, and future, my ancestors from all directions, is because I'm also very I feel like we have the power, if we choose now, to bring healing to the past generations,
yes,
healing, and flow that healing into our current family and relationships at the moment, and then and push like a wave the healing forward, so
yeah,
that when I do reach out to the energies of who's connected to me directly by blood, or anyone in the world that's connected to me because they're an earthling versus an
right.
alien, that um, I can have and access knowledge that is not available at this present moment, but beyond it. Because I think time is something that we again choose to live in. I think time, we can push it away. We can rub it out almost like a dry eraser marker. Move that line of time and let all of it kind of flow together. I love that you talked about people who are in the 5% who have the money, but it's not just that they have the money. They understand that there is, if you take a deep breath and let it out and stretch your arms as wide as you can, there is an abundance of money available to me and to you. And not just money, but resources,
The,
people, really good staff, knowledge, the know how. Everything is there and available for us right at this present moment, if we allow ourselves to receive it and figure out how to plug it in
mhm.
to our situation in our lives at the moment.
Yes, and it's like it's not that the 5% that they have the money, they have the confidence first. It's always like confidence first, money second.
Mhm. But the
Always.
confidence to know that it's there and they can access it. That's what I'm talking about.
It's
To
it's
understand
even
that it is there and that they can receive it and access
I
it.
mean, yes, 100%. For the people who are in alignment and are, pull or rather speak this language of law of attraction abundance. Yes, there are,
Mhm,
however, super successful people that have no idea about attraction and alignment and so on and so forth. To me,
mhm,
it's more like their thought is that it's their birthright to be
mhm,
successful, even if they're like, they started with nothing or they were born into wealth, they feel like it's their birthright. That's kind of the biggest difference I feel.
mhm,
And the path there is very different. For some, it's yes, spirituality, vibration, attraction. Let's make it
mhm,
easy. Let's make it joyful. Let's make it fun.
mhm. That's me.
Or 100%, right? That's why I started with with this version. Yeah, yeah. It's like the path is different for everyone,
You're right.
but I think that's kind of the defining trait. It's
Mm,
like, no, this is mine. Of course I should have it. Of course this should happen. Yeah,
mhm,
Whereas the majority of us have this belief of, no, I haven't worked hard enough, I haven't studied enough, I haven't proven. It's like, even if you list the wins, yeah, they're cool for me, but maybe other people don't see them as being wins, right?
mm,
So we
mhm,
have this language of not being good enough. It really comes down to that. You
mm,
eliminate the I'm not good enough, confidence is the default.
mhm. Yeah, I love that. So I interrupted you because I had to go back into your confidence thing to share with everyone something they could do today
Mhm.
that would be a benefit for them. We've talked about so much, maybe I've blurred over and missed it and forgot, but share with us a tip that can improve someone's life today.
Well, the easiest one, if you're an entrepreneur, ask yourself what would be like before you start your day, you make your to-do list. Understand that not all tasks are created equal.
Hmm.
Start your day with the most profitable task, and it's usually the uncomfortable one. The
Mhm,
the most profitable task will be the one that kind of gets you more out of your comfort zone. That's the business owner mindset.
mhm,
And then because you've given yourself a reward, start your day right after that, the most profitable, do the most fulfilling task. And in time, you will realize that the most uncomfortable task becomes the same as the most fulfilling one as well.
mm. Yeah,
They
I
start to
love
interlap.
that's beautiful. Okay, so since we started our show series, we have always also brought causes that are close to the hearts of our guests. So we take this moment of pause. We ask you to take this moment of share because now is the best time ever. If you haven't hit that share button yet, put some comments in about how you've liked the show so far and what causes you love and care about and what motivates you. Also, for a special treat for our guests, tell us about your why and why it is so important. But causes can often connect to your why. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But share with us causes that are close to your heart.
I mean, I was attracted by charity water, and yeah, it's basically a foundation that brings clean water to Africa.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's the one that I would recommend. It aligns with the vision because the vision for us is empower entrepreneurs, eliminate poverty.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
And it's not just about bringing resources, it's a lot about bringing in education. And a lot of your work is, Jessica, by the way, is opening the door to that because, as- whenever I feel I speak to someone, not to generalize too much, but in a sense, I have a bit of a right to talk about it because Romania was considered a third world country for the longest time, right?
Hmm.
And I recognize that when I speak with people from Africa, from India, there's always this belief of, you know, we can't compare to other people like other countries in the West.
Hmm.
But I think our jobs as educators is to bring the yes you can
Hmm.
to the surface. Yes, you can. You're more than equipped. You have everything you need. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
I love that.
that
Clean water is so, so very important. And um, you also shared with me behind the scenes, behind the curtain before we came live, that you are tithing and pushing money to the side, that as you research and as you develop and reach a goal with these funds, you're going to be looking into your community and the world for the best places to put them. And I thought that was a
yeah,
beautiful inspiration to share with others. So,
yeah.
so
Thank you.
we are hoping that we inspire you right now to give time, treasure, or talent to a cause that you care about. Maybe the one we mentioned, maybe something to do with clean water for communities anywhere in the world. Maybe it just reminded you that you should go down to the local home shelter near you and spend time with someone, play cards, say a kind word, help serve lunch, whatever it is you choose to do. We hope that we've inspired you to do something kind with your time, and you can inspire someone else too by just hitting the share button. So we appreciate you for that. We want to support one another as humans. People matter most. That's the point. That's why I believe, for me, I'm on the planet. So, people first. All right. Now, books. I am surrounded by them. I love them. People watching know I am creating the ultimate book list of all of the books that have inspired our guests' personal life there or helped them grow their business beyond what they could have imagined before. And you're going to share a book with us.
Yeah. Mind if I share too?
I would love if you shared too.
Beautiful.
Never enough books.
So this is the first ever personal development book I ever read. The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz.
Mm,
Um, the book starts out. This is kind of the thing that stuck with me, and it's the first page basically. It starts out with the story of sales reps, and the manager's like, "Okay, David or Charlie, whatever, sold 5 times more than you guys this month." Do you think Charlie's 5 times smarter than you? No. Did he work 5 times more than you? No, you all work the same hours. Charlie thought 5 times bigger than you. That's,
Mm.
oh my God, right?
Mhm.
So that was a huge inspiration. And the second one that was a huge life changer was the Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer.
Mhm.
It talks a lot about, like, the guy just wanted to be a hippie in nature meditating. He ended up being like the CEO of Oracle or something like that, if I remember. And it was just because he surrendered to life. And like every negative event, he was like, okay, we'll see what happens. Let's not react. You know, whatever happens, happens. It's fine. Every single negative event that he took on with an open heart, right? Though probably the openness you were talking about at the beginning of this conversation opened the door to something tremendous, like unexpectedly positive. So
Mhm.
yeah, these are my top two recommendations.
I love that. And, I'll be honest, there was a little arm twisting before the curtain released, and a little pushing, and a little poking, and a little love, Italian mother
Jessica,
encouragement.
it shows that you spend too much time with your husband doing martial arts and twisting arms.
That's right. I totally flipped him on the mat, and he has agreed to talk about the brilliance of his book. So please share with us the book that you are the author of.
I wrote a book in Romanian. I haven't translated it yet, and I thank you, Jessica, for giving me the kick in the ass along with the arm twist to translate, because I'm like, yeah, I haven't translated it to English, but in just like, yeah, but you have so many tools, like you have ChatGPT these days, and like, and I'm like, you know what? It's like so obvious, but you just don't see it. So thank you so much, Jessica, for that. So this is my commitment. I am publicly committing to translating my book into English again, because I did translate it once and for some reason I lost the translation. But this is my commitment. The book will be in English. Now, from Romanian to English, it roughly translates into greatness and mastery. 10 principles from personal development and martial arts that will give you a successful life. This The biggest surprise I had with this book was the following. Should I share this story
Yes,
or
yes. I've been waiting since before to hear this story. I don't know it. This is a new one for me. So everyone on the edge of your seats, ready, go.
beautiful? So I mainly wrote it like to have a deeper connection with my martial arts students, and share also a bit of my story, but things that happen, like that I learned along the way. I was in my hometown, Koch, right? The one we mentioned. I was visiting my parents, and I went to the grocery store to buy some stuff. And at the grocery store was a like a family friend or something like that. We were related, and then they divorced, and whatever. She was there.
Mm.
She was working, and she just stopped me and she said, "I need to thank you." I'm like, "What?" I haven't seen her like in years, right? And I'm like, "What? What do you mean? What happened?" She said, "Your mother gave me your book. I was in such a bad place when I got your book. I read your book. I answered the questions at the end of each chapter, and it, it got me out of that place. But I'm also, I became the manager of this shop, and I was shocked. I didn't even know my mom gave her the book or whatever,
Mhm.
and like, yeah. So
So, true story that motivates and backs everything I said. And this is a resource and a tool that not only will serve you, but will serve so many who have not had the chance yet to read it. I will be lined up with my hot finger on the Amazon button when it is released in English, so that I can have it for myself and as a gift for my husband to share as well. So we are all waiting and excited. So we will be checking back and pinging you to see how's the progress coming on that.
You have my commitment, and thank you for reminding me about that.
Well, I'm going to tell you that this interview has gone double the time that I share with anyone else,
Oh,
because the joy I've had in chatting with you. And I hope that listeners are enjoying it as much as I have having you on the show. And I hope you've had a good time too.
it's a beautiful time, and I've also learned so much from this conversation. So thank you very, very much, Jessica.
So, before we get to our final thought and piece of information or inspiration, is there anything else that we've covered a lot today? But is there anything else about you personally or your business that you didn't feel like you got a chance to share? I know you're also forming a community.
We
Um,
are, yes.
You want to talk about
Unschooled.
that just for a second?
It's called Real Freedom Elevator.
Mm-hmm.
We are building it. We are kind of in the starting phases of building it. But what's fun about it is that we also have like expert speakers joining
Mm-hmm.
us and sharing their stories, and people get to ask them questions and tune in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's beautiful. The reason why I called it Real Freedom Elevator is because we're looking for that financial freedom,
Mm-hmm.
but what we're really looking for is inner freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the
Mm-hmm.
paradox is when you do allow yourself to have that state of inner freedom, right, of joy, of love, of believing in yourself, believing that the world loves you, that's when things happen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the elevator, the freedom element makes me think of the Willy Wonka, where the elevator lifts out of the building
Into
and
the
fly
sky.
into the sky. That's the picture in the mind, in my mind that I see. It's funny that you say that the kind of freedom we're looking for, because I was thinking about and spending some time on my why again, which we have to do as we have to lift weights to continue to grow our muscles, as we have to wash our face each morning, and we have to
Right.
go back and renew. And my why was about time freedom, the freedom to be able to say, the weather is beautiful today, and I'm going to go spend 5 hours out of my kayak and not do anything
Yeah.
else, and focus on that space and what I want to do with my time. And as a result, I have begun designing both my schedule and preparing all my clients and people in my lives who come to me to understand that if the weather happens to be very warm, they may get an email that says, our meeting has been rescheduled due to the warmth of the weather and perfect kayaking conditions. And I also have my husband
Perfect.
inventing and designing, taking an existing phone clamp and existing and designing one that, modifying it so that it can clamp to my kayak. So if I choose to have my meetings and my office to be my kayak on the water, so it is. And so I have captured my why of my time freedom to do what I want when I want to, without necessarily the millions of dollars in the bank account. And I believe that they're very shortly arriving and on their way, using many vehicles to get to me. Uh, so
Yeah.
um, so I love that you shared that piece. If you're watching, and oh, you've watched so long with us, and we are so grateful for your company and for your input. Be a part of the conversation, put comments in, but you're thinking, I'm an industry expert. I can help someone's life improve or business grow beyond their imagination. Well, then you should be on the show. We'd love to feature you. Reach out to our team and we'll get you on just like we have featured this amazing expert, amplifying your freedom, amplifying your money. Now, if you are an industry expert, I'm going to ask you and I'm going to wag my finger at you. Don't be selfish. Share with other experts that because you could be their hero and ours if you introduce us and we are able and have the opportunity to also feature them. So before we say goodbye, as we come to a close of this just really wonderful conversation, I've loved so much. Can you share with us a final thought, a piece of information or inspiration as we say goodbye?
Yeah. Um, Somebody asked me in another podcast, like if you could create a banner and, like a sign or something, then everybody in the world could see it, what would you write on it? And I said that's what kind of that was the download at the moment, was it would be a mirror and it would say, you are stronger than you know.
Mm, I love it. It's so beautiful. And I don't know if you know that the whole Christopher Robin Winnie the Pooh series. You'll have to
No.
get the quote, and I wish I had it in my hand, but it's um, something along the lines of you'll have to see it. He says, "You're stronger than you know, braver than you believe, smarter than you realize." Something. There's this whole
Mm.
beautiful poem connected to it, and it's Christopher Robin speaking to his Winnie the Pooh in that beautiful series. It's a
I just
beautiful
got
quote.
I just got goosebumps from that.
I love that. I love that. I am your host, as always, for almost 8 years now, Jessica Koch. It has been my honor to bring to you profound professionals, global industry experts from all corners of the world who can help improve your personal life and grow your business. I always close my show out the same, but today I'm going to change it just a little bit because I feel this conversation has stretched me and I have also grown. So I will say be kind to yourself, be kind to each other, but also choose joy, choose love, choose happiness in all things. Thank you so much, Bogdan, for your beautiful presence in our show today. And goodbye, everybody.
See you guys. Thank you for tuning in.